Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Langer at the Mic Live, another Habs post-game show here on Langer at the Mic Live. And it feels like it's becoming way too often where I'm starting these streams without the game even being over yet. There's still about a minute 30 left in the Habs game. It's 5-2 Calgary. They just scored the empty netter. And if you'd rather watch me than watch the rest of these last 90 seconds, then thank you so much for joining in on this Habs post-game show. And more of the same, eh? More of the same. This is just honestly becoming a chore. Like every single, like they can't beat the Flames, they can't beat the Sens. It's that simple. Even when they had a really good first period and things were going so well, they scored the first goal. They had to have a brain fart late in the first period and end the period tied at 1 instead of being up 1-0. And then collapse after collapse in the second period. And while they did get one back late in the second period, they just had to keep shooting themselves in the foot. Third period with another missed play in the neutral zone. And obviously the Flames buried the eventual empty netter. Habs are about to get a power play right now. But man, early on in Dominic Ducharme's era, at least I was watching or starting these streams like late because the Habs would be in the game until the last second, or that would go to overtime. And I would have to emotionally, gather myself after an exciting or frustrating overtime loss. But man, these are just like, can the game end already? Like, do we have to watch these games? And I'm going to keep watching these games because I'm committed to you and I'm committed to my Langer at the Mic channel here. But the Montreal Canadiens, unfortunately, they're not as committed to, not shooting themselves in the foot and giving up. Because the worst thing about this game tonight is that all 4 goals, you could say all 5 goals, because the empty netter wouldn't have happened if the Habs are in this one, but all 5 goals that the Montreal Canadiens gave up to the Calgary Flames, they were preventable. And in about 38 seconds, I'm gonna break it down. The Habs have a power play right now. Kotkaniemi in front. Markstrom. Freaking Eric Staal missed a wide open net. Freaking Jacob Markstrom was a mile out of his crease to the left, and Eric Staal had the puck right in the slot, and a wide open net hits the post. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Like, even when this game is over and I'm trying to get over it, you can't get oh my God. Oh my God. If you're watching me right now, then good on you, because again, you just missed Eric Staal. Okay, fine. You know what? Sorry. Forgive me. It went off number 20 on the Flames, the defenseman. Looks like, I think that's not Manjapan. It was Nordstrom. Yeah, it was went off Nordstrom. So a nice shot block by Nordstrom, but still, Eric Staal had a wide open net and he missed. That's the bottom line. It was a nice block by Nordstrom, but still. Anyway, something I also want to check out here is cap friendly, because I want to bring that up at some point later in tonight's post-game show. And again, if you're tuning in, then thank you so much for tuning in. This team, I might need to start drinking, Noah. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised I haven't been drinking yet. Maybe because it's COVID. Maybe because I'm more of a social drinker and I don't drink alone. I'm not that type of guy. Maybe I'm about to become that type of guy. But this hockey team, man, is certainly making me consider it. I got to tell you, this hockey team is certainly making me want to go to LCBO here in Ontario or in Quebec, le SAQ, right? Oh, man. Unbelievable. So, yeah, just back to the breakdown of the goals. What are we at right now? Game's still going on. Yeah, I think it's a final score, 5-2 now. The Flames win. And yeah, just this is, look, let's get into the goals, because again, all 5 goals that the Flames scored here, they were preventable. Let's start with the first one. Habs are again playing a really, really good period. Really good period. Lead 1-0 at this point, off a really nice play by Tatar, and dropped it off to Eric Gustafsson, who put it to the net. Evans missed it, but Suzuki was in the right place, right time, buried the rebound. Oh, and one more thing. Habs still have not scored more than 2 goals on Jacob Markstrom this year, which is what it is. But so first, Flames goal. Habs doing a great job maintaining the pressure in the Calgary end, but then there is a turnover, or there is just a change in possession. And Johnny Gaudreau, being the good, smart offensive hockey player that he is, did the right thing and got himself open flew the zone, went for a breakaway pass because he saw the opportunity with Romanov pinching, which wasn't a bad pinch. That wasn't a bad pinch by Romanov. It was a good pinch, but just he couldn't get back in time because because Johnny Gaudreau beat him when he was flying the zone for a breakaway pass. But the bigger problem is that, and I'm looking up one more thing over here just to see here. So Johnny Gaudreau beat Romanov with speed when he flew the zone. But the bigger problem is that John Merrill was absolutely just a dead duck and a pylon at the Habs blue line, not covering anyone. Kotkaniemi, it was Tkachuk who broke away with the puck, and he made the pass to Gaudreau. But Kotkaniemi left his offensive position, transitioned to defense, pressured Tkachuk into getting rid of the puck. I mean, it was a nice pass by Tkachuk to Gaudreau, but Kotkaniemi did his job. Romanov, okay, he was beat on the play, but he wasn't the last guy back. The last guy back was John Merrill in that situation, and John Merrill has to be more than just a pylon at the blue line. He has to see what's happening in front of him, see that, Romanov just got beat by the Calgary Flames' best goal scorer, and Kotkaniemi is pressuring the Flames' third best goal scorer. So what do I have to do? Well, converge on Johnny Gaudreau and don't just stay at the blue line like a pylon. And John Merrill stayed at the blue line like a pylon, had no movement, just was unable to accelerate fast enough because Johnny Gaudreau already had all the speed from flying the zone. And when a guy like Johnny Gaudreau gets the time and space to shoot the puck like that, he ain't gonna miss. And by the way, Caden Primo tonight did everything he could. He was for a 20-year-old second-year player making his third or fourth start in the NHL tonight. He did what he could. He really did what he could tonight. Because that goal by Johnny Gaudreau, that's a perfect shot, high glove on Caden Primo. And again, that's on John Merrill for being flat-footed at the blue line. Second goal. Now, Nick Suzuki is becoming a defensive liability. We all know he can't take faceoffs, which has been the case all year. So whatever, it is what it is. He's a young player. He'll get better. But for now, not good at faceoffs. It is what it is. But for some reason, Dominique Ducharme or Luke Richardson or Alex Burrows, whoever makes the decisions of who takes what faceoff, thought it was a good idea for Nick Suzuki to take a defensive zone faceoff, which in itself is a bit of a risk. But Suzuki was the one taking the defensive zone faceoff on his weak side as a right-handed shot on his left side, which is his weak side. If you win it back, that's going right on net, and you're not able to tie up the opposing centerman as easily. So what happens is Flames win the draw cleanly, puck goes to Lucic, and bodies upon bodies in front of Caden Primo, Lucic buries it 2-1. And the third goal here. So the third goal, obviously most of the attention is going to be paid to Jeff Petrie and Ben Sherratt for forgetting how to defense. And that was my initial tweet. Again, follow me at Mike Langer. And as usual, leave a comment on what your favorite or what annoyed you the most out of this hockey game. And again, your choice of beverage, because I should consider starting drinking by myself while watching the Habs game. So what drink do you recommend that I consume while watching these Habs games? Leave that in the comment section. But yeah, so in the third goal, you're thinking, or your attention is drawn to Petrie and Kulak, Sherratt, just completely not playing it well, which they did not. They did not play that well. Petrie took the puck off his skate and went off the boards. He loses the battle. Puck comes in front to it was a mini 2-on-1 where I guess it was I think it was Mangiapane. If I go back to my notes here, it was Mangiapane. Yeah, Mangiapane beat Petrie, fed Johnny Gaudreau, who again won't miss in that situation, 3-1. But why was the puck deflecting off Jeff Petrie's skate in the neutral zone? Well, that's because Nick Suzuki is at the Calgary blue line and has a chance, it was a delayed offside, and Nick Suzuki, all he had to do was get the puck deep and try forechecking again, or even delay, or try carrying the puck into the zone yourself. But what does he do? He just, for some reason, thinks it's a good idea to pass it back to Jeff Petrie. Not only pass it back to Jeff Petrie, but make a terrible pass back to Jeff Petrie, which started that whole sequence. So if Nick Suzuki just gets that puck deep, no goal happens. So again, here we are. First goal, John Merrill. If he plays his position properly, no goal. Second goal, if Suzuki isn't taking the defensive zone faceoff on his weak side, that could prevent that goal from happening. We've seen Nick Suzuki the goals happen from Nick Suzuki losing faceoffs cleanly. We've seen that happen before. So that was a mistake. And that could have been a different play if it wasn't Nick Suzuki taking that faceoff. Third goal, if Nick Suzuki gets that puck deep, that whole sequence with Petrie, Sherratt doesn't happen. And who knows what the game would have been like. That's the third goal. Fourth goal. Now, this is between Kakaniemi and on John Merrill again. John Merrill, okay, he was kind of slew-footed and forechecked and pressured, so he had to make a pass. But I find one thing with Kakaniemi, as much as I think he's been one of the second most consistent center on the Canadiens, maybe arguably the most consistent center on the Canadiens when Philip Deneau was struggling, but he's a little awkward at times with the puck on his stick. But sometimes he makes it work. Sometimes he still controls it, wins the battle, makes a good pass, gets out of it. But in this case, he was awkward with the puck on his stick, lost it, turn over the other way. Petrie just completely whiffs on his pinch to try to prevent anything from happening. But that leads to a 2-on-1. And Kakaniemi now is the lone back checker, is a dead duck. Pass one side to the other, and it was Brett Ritchie that scored. Yeah. So it was a Derek Ryan to Brett Ritchie. So yeah, so those are 4 goals that just fundamental breakdowns in the neutral zone. Yeah, pretty much the second one in the neutral zone, or sorry, second one off the face-off, first one in the neutral zone, third one in the neutral zone, fourth one in the neutral zone. Fundamental breakdowns, if they don't happen, those goals don't happen. Then, of course, if you don't give up those goals, you don't have to pull Caden Primo with 3 minutes left, and you don't have to give up the empty netters. So that's what annoys me the most about this game, is that all the goals that the Canadiens gave up were clearly preventable by just fundamental breakdowns. And it wasn't even more so than a lack of coverage, which that was the issue in last night's game, where coverage was an issue. And that's arguably fundamental. And yes, that's on Shea Weber for the penalty and the leaving Sean Monahan wide open the slot. That's on Shea Weber. That's on D-zone coverage. But here, these are plays where they're even more fundamentally, like, if you execute and do what you're supposed to do, you don't give up those goals. And that's what frustrates me about this game. Something else, let's even back up to before the game here now, because not only was Jonathan Drouin not well enough to play in tonight's game, but Paul Byron also has a lower body injury. So one would think that would open the door for a certain Cole Caulfield to come into the lineup, but they still put Jake Evans in the lineup. And I understand the cap. Yes, I understand the cap, but here's the thing. And right now, that's what I was trying to open up before, is cap friendly. Right now, the Montreal Canadiens, if I read this properly, where does it say? They have $992,000 of cap space, and Cole Caulfield's salary would be $1.3 million with his bonuses. So, your 1 point. Wait, where does it say? Taxi swell. Yeah. So it's a $1.3 million cap hit. So they would need more cap space to make it happen. But here's the problem, though. So you're playing 7 defensemen. Right? You're playing 7 defensemen with John Merrill and Eric Gustafsson in the lineup. But so Marc Bergevin did all the cap gymnastics, putting Brendan Gallagher on LTIR, and gave up the draft picks to acquire John Merrill and Eric Gustafsson, which weren't bad ideas. But here's the problem, though. Is putting Eric Gustafsson in the lineup over Cole Caulfield. Is Eric Gustafsson and his, what does he make? What is it? A $1.5 million cap hit. That being on your salary cap and not Cole Caulfield's $1.3 million. Is that worth it? Is that worth having Eric Gustafsson in your lineup at $1.5 million on the cap? And what is it? Him playing as a 7th defenseman and him playing, what did he play? 12 minutes? Is that worth putting? Is that worth it? Like, is that a good cap management right there? Is that worth not having Cole Caulfield in the lineup? And scratching Jeff Petrie, not Jeff Petrie, Brett Kulak, who is still counting against the cap? Is that a good decision? Is that good cap management? You gave up a 7th round pick to get Eric Gustafsson, a 7th round pick, to now create the cap hell that you did for yourself to prevent Cole Caulfield from getting in the lineup. And here's the thing, though. Now, the counter to that, or devil's advocate to that, is now I've been one clamoring for the Habs to load manage their defensemen. Shea Weber, Jeff Petrie, Joel Edmondson. Give them rest. Now, is the 7 defense plan something that will give Weber, Petrie, Edmondson, Sherratt more rest. Well, given the fact that Shea Weber played 23 minutes last night, that's not the case. With 7 defensemen, that's definitely not the case. The fact that Jeff Petrie played 21 minutes tonight and Ben Sherratt played 19 minutes tonight, which is a little bit lower than usual. Fine. I'll give him that. But Shea Weber, 23 minutes tonight. Shea Weber plays 23 minutes last night, 23 minutes tonight, because you have Eric Gustafsson, and you don't even use Eric Gustafsson as a 7th defenseman. You only use him for 13 minutes. So to me, it's like the Habs are just making excuses to not get Cole Caulfield in the lineup. The Canadiens, Marc Bergevin, the way he managed the cap. And also, here's another thing. Before Paul Byron gets injured, you can put Paul Byron on waivers whenever you want to. Whenever he has a bad game like he did against Ottawa, where he turns the puck over at the blue line and isn't perfect defensively, you can put Paul Byron on waivers and save 1 point, whatever, a fraction of his salary cap, of his cap hit. You can do that because he's not scoring goals for you right now. And he's not playing perfectly or if he's not playing perfectly defensively for you, well, you need goals in your lineup. And who could get goals for you? Cole Caulfield can get goals for you. So the way I see it, they say, oh, we're tight against the cap. Oh, we need an injury to be in the lineup. Well, you have 2 injuries that happen to 2 forwards, and you have opportunities. You have things that you can do with the cap. Okay, sure, Carey Price getting hurt means they have to call up Caden Primo. Fine. But you have Eric Gustafsson eating $1.5 million. You have Paul Byron eating $3.5 million. You have moves that you can make to give yourself the cap space to put Cole Caulfield in the lineup, and the Canadiens are just making excuses to not do it. Why? I have no idea. And that's what's frustrating. Also, just with all the negativity aside, I do want to give a shout out to Tyler Toffoli, who it's his birthday today. And Tyler Toffoli scored his 24th goal of the season. Yep. He's on the power play. By the way, Tyler Toffoli has the 3 last goals that were scored by the Habs on the power play. So maybe if Cole Caulfield is in the lineup, maybe he might be able to add another goal or 2 on the power play. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe if Shea Weber wasn't so much the issue tonight, but maybe if, look, with the way John Merrill played tonight, I guess that's kind of why you don't want him playing more. But what about Brett Kulak? You could put Brett Kulak in there for a good 18 to 19 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes a game to give Jeff Petrie or Ben Sherratt or Shea Weber that rest. But they're not doing it. With 7 defensemen, they're just getting in their own way. They're making excuses to not get Cole Caulfield in the lineup. And that's that. That's pretty much it, I guess, for tonight. The only, I always say that and then end up ranting for another 2-3 minutes. But I guess I did want to mention Caden Primo, a little bit more on Caden Primo's start tonight. Look, what I love about Caden Primo is A, his rebound control, and B, the fact that to me, I find he just fills so much net. He has such a good ability to take up so much net and be in good position to essentially block shots and let them hit him. But I also think that he's not just a complete, big dumb goalie that just, can't read the play and can't, be effective or can't, make big saves, because he's been doing that all year with Laval. So between his ability to cover the net and his upside in his ability to read the play and make big saves means that he's an exciting goaltending prospect for the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm not going to talk about too much what they'll do with Carey Price and the expansion draft or whatever. But look, if Carey Price isn't going to be in Montreal forever, and look, Caden Primo will get a chance at some point. He will. And he played more than fine tonight. Just the Habs, as we know, again, with their defensive breakdowns, have to clean that up. And are they going to? I don't think so, because they haven't all season. They can't. I don't know if maybe come playoff time, they'll magically flip the switch, especially with what we've seen with how they've been playing all season. I don't know if they can do it. But yeah, that's the problem. That's a big problem. And yeah. Like I said, that's pretty much it. Suzuki, nice goal. Toffoli, nice goal. Like, went over all the goals already. Markstrom had a really nice save on Tyler Toffoli late. He robbed Tyler Toffoli. Just took a little too long. It was a tough pass reception from Suzuki, and he took a little bit. It wasn't easy for him to unleash it or to shoot right away. And Markstrom made a really nice save reading it, cutting across. But Yeah. Eric Gustafsson, by the way, you know what? Had 2 assists tonight. He played, what was it? He played his 12 minutes, but he had 2 assists tonight. So I guess that's good. But, do you really want his 1.5? Is his $1.5 million cap hit, worth keeping over Cole Caulfield's $1.3 million cap hit? Or Paul Byron's fraction of the $3.5 million that you could be saving with putting Paul Byron on waivers every now and then because no one's going to pick up his contract. So, yeah. Yeah, we'll end the show there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure that you give me a big thumbs up on this video as usual, and subscribe to my channel, and leave in the comment section what alcoholic beverage you recommend for me or anyone else watching to consume to be able to get through these Habs games. I know that was a comment question of the day yesterday, but let's make it another one today because I think the Canadians, we deserve it. We deserve to know. And just thumbs up, subscribe, and also give me a follow Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike Langer for all 3. Oh, and one more thing I want to mention. With lockdown going on in Ontario and in Quebec, obviously not easy for a lot of people's physical health, but also from a mental health standpoint. So just be nice to people, make sure they're all doing okay, because you never know what someone is going through. So just, be mindful of that. Be nice to people, care about people, and just appreciate the fact that, it's okay to not be okay, and love each other. And that's all. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to see you again next time.